welcome to another edition of the House Whisperer Show on WWDB Talk 860. Stay tuned for expert advice about maintaining your house from the roof to the basement, featuring professional home inspector Jack Milne. I'm Barry Reisman, and Jack, glad to have you back.
Yeah, Barry, thank you very much. Great show last week with Glenn Aust talking generators.
Yes, it was.
And, you know, like I said last week, I love to bring topics to the air that can affect our lives. You know, how can we make them better? And it's a lot of thought process. Let me think about this. Let me think about that. But when I do bring on folks, I tend to step away from the email box. And every once in a while, I love to, go through the letters. And as this is your show, I want to bring up the questions that some of my listeners have brought up to me. And again, looking at it from the aspect of what these people may ask that affects us all. Because after all, I mean, this is the show where every house has a story. But before we kick in, I do want to thank my sponsors. And please do this for me. When you're in contact with them, please let them know that you heard their ads on the House Whisperer Show. I think that's great for me and great for you. So, of course, my company, Tri-County Inspection Company, we'll do websites today. Spring is right around the corner, and all these folks, if you want to get better information, go right to their website, or you can call them personally. But Tri-County's website is tcinspect.com. Of course, brainfleshgear.com. Spring's around the corner. It's maybe time to think about a new wardrobe. Pest Blaster. Their website is pestblaster.com. I love the simple ones. That way it's easy to remember. But again, they get involved with radon, mold, wood-destroying insects, and pest removal. And with almost March here, it's unbelievable. That's when your swarms start to show. So if you start to see a lot of wings and body parts or carpenter ants, time to give Pest Blaster a buzz. But also Burrow Exterminating, really for the same reason, because they're also involved in pest control and radon testing. And their website is burrowexterminating.com. And finally, Rob Bowie with Bucksmont Inspections. Their website is bucksmontinspections.com. Please visit their website, and especially if your house is starting to show about above 25 years of age, that's typically when on-site sewage systems start to show their age too. So just like going to the doctor and getting a good physical, for about $250, it might be worthwhile to have Bucksmont come out and analyze your system before it actually warrants outright replacement, which can definitely be costly. So sometimes preventive maintenance goes a long way. So before we kick in, just please visit the website at thehousewhisperershow.com, where all my shows are listed, and please email me at thehousewhisperershow@gmail.com. Like today, your questions may make it on the air. And finally, don't forget the podcast at www.dbam.com. So let's kick in. I love these shows. Bill from Percy. Jack, we had a home inspection done last week, and the water heater is older but still working. We tried to negotiate for its replacement by the owners, but they refused. What's your thought? Well, Bill, first off, the home inspection law is pretty clear with language that says that just because a system, subsystem, or component is near, at, or beyond the end of its normal useful life is not by itself a material defect. And believe me, I talk about the law every day, so it kind of rolls off my tongue. But the seller, unfortunately, almost had every right to turn down your request because it hadn't failed. And over the last few weeks, I have found dated water heaters, and I explained to my clients why, one, they should do a pre-settlement check to make sure it's not leaking, because technically, before you go to the table, that water heater still belongs to the seller. But once you're handed the key and you open the door, well, that water heater becomes yours. And one thing about dated water heaters, they don't give you a warning. You might be blessed to have a small drip at the ball cock at the bottom of the tank, but in most cases, the tank just literally bursts at the bottom of the tank. And it's not only the water that you're holding in the tank, but remember, you've got an open valve that's going to continue to pour water into your home until you can manually turn it off either above the water heater or at your water main. So I do tell my clients, one, do that pre-settlement check, but more importantly, be aggressive as to its replacement, and especially if your water heater is located on a finished level, if your water heater is on a slab. Most homes are constructed on slabs, or if it's in a finished basement, because that $800 to $1,000 expense to replace it is far less than the Berber carpet and maybe cutting away the drywall or having one of these mitigation companies come in and try to dry your floor out before mold sets in. So be careful with water heaters. If you have any questions as to the age of your tank, please email me at thehousewhisperershow@gmail.com, and I'm really good at dating water heaters, and I can help you through that. But a standard water heater lasts about 12 to 15 years. So a good plumber is going to put the date of installation on the tank, hopefully with a Sharpie or some other marker to help you date that tank. So, Bill, I hope you take my advice. Replace it as soon as you get in. Put it on that 30 or 60-day list, but no later than that. Next is Sue from Holland. Jack, with the snow and the winds from the last storm, large icicles were forming on my gutters. What does that mean? Sue, in essence, icicles look pretty, but they're far more signs of damaging, whereby your soffits or the overhang of your home is not cold enough to help dissipate the snow and clear your gutters. So we see all these picture postcards, around Santa Claus time with all these nice large icicles. But basically, that's a sign of something called ice damming. And ice damming is created by when we do get finally some of these warmer days and the snowpack moves down towards your gutter. At night, because as it gets colder, the snow will work its way back up under your roof shingle and possibly under the roofing felt, and then melt the next day into your home and into the finished areas of your home. So icicles is not a good sign. If you're prone for icicles, they do make a heat wire that can be installed either in your gutter or on about the first 3 or 4 tabs of your shingle that puts a little bit of warmth onto your roof surface to help dissipate the snow. But most importantly, I would recommend that you talk to a roofing/siding contractor and fully vent the overhangs of your home. It not only helps you in the winter, but more importantly, it cools your attic over the summer. So, folks, icicles and Sue, it's not a good sign. It means you have to do a little bit more work to your home to actually make it breathe better. So, Barry, if I may ask, why don't we take a commercial break at this point?
Okay.
And we'll hear from Jeff from Glen Olden.
You're talking about ice dams. I think that when you get that, you'll be using the word dam in a different sense too, right?
Oh, it's a damn shame.
Yeah, exactly right. Those ice dams, you got to watch out for them. Jack Milne is here, and we'll go back to the email box in just a moment, right after this at WWDB.
Boro Exterminating has been specializing in wood-destroying insect inspection and control for over 40 years, serving Philadelphia and the surrounding counties. All inspectors are state certified and ensure providing their clients with professional inspections and treatments. Boro not only performs conventional termite treatments, but also handles special services like historic buildings and homes with wells, creeks, or ponds. The client is assured that all treatments will be performed safely when you hire Boro to do the work. They also provide radon testing in their service area. Boro's full-time office staff is available to help you schedule an appointment. Just call 610-586-5640 or send an email request to boroinspects@verizon.net. That's 610-586-5640 or email at boroinspects@verizon.net.
Specially created t-shirts by BrainFlushGear.com offer the extreme sports enthusiast an opportunity to have a clothing line available that suits their sport. BrainFlushGear.com understands that when we get the moment where we can jump on our motorcycles, wave runners, surfboards, snowmobiles, or skateboards, it can be priceless. They offer custom artwork including silk screening, transfers, and embroidery. Speak to one of their consultants today, and they'll help you create your own Brain Flush. Visit BrainFlushGear.com or email them at contact@BrainFlushGear.com.
For your septic inspection and testing needs, please consider Bucksmont Inspections. They've been serving the Bucks and Montgomery County areas for over 15 years. As members of the Pennsylvania Septic Management Association, the Pennsylvania Association of Sewage Enforcement Officers, and the Pennsylvania Association for Professional Soil Scientists, Bucksmont Inspections can inspect your existing septic system or test for your new septic system placement. Please call Rob Bowie at 215-669-4213 and say you heard their ad on the House Whisperers show.
As the weather gets cooler and the temperatures drop, the bugs might slow down, but the rodents don't stop. Mice and rats begin to invade homes during the fall and winter months, looking for food, warmth, and a comfortable place to nest. Don't wait for pesky rodents to invade your home. Fight back. Have your home baited and ready for their attack with Pest Blaster. Whether preventative or a full-blown infestation, give Pest Blaster a call at 215-295-5555 and they can discuss the solution to your problem. They also offer humane animal removal services for a wide variety of wild animals, damage repairs, and cleanups. Call them today at 215-295-5555 or check them out at pestblaster.com, servicing both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Pest Blaster, 215-295-5555 or pestblaster.com for all your pest control needs.
Tri-County Inspection Company has been providing professional home inspections, commercial inspections, and historic property evaluations for over 25 years. Tri-County Inspection Company covers 13 counties, serving both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. They've performed inspections for over 70,000 clients and are members of the American Society of Home Inspectors, as well as the Pennsylvania Home Inspectors Coalition. They are licensed in both Philadelphia and New Jersey. For all of your real estate transactions, call Tri-County Inspections at 215-295-2030. For their New Jersey clientele, call 856-853-4224. In PA, call 215-295-2030. In New Jersey, 856-853-4224.
And we're back with Jack Milne, the House Whisperer, and Jack is digging into the email box today, and a lot of important questions that people are sending you, and you're answering them, and at the same time educating me and our listeners. So, Jack, back to the emails.
Well, thank you, Barry. The next email comes from Jeff from Glenolden. Now, Glenolden, of course, is the home of borough exterminating. So, Jeff, if you see any of my buddies from borough, just say hi for me. His question, Jack, with the snow on the roofs, how do home inspectors verify the condition of the roof? And, Jeff, that's a great question because it seems over the last couple of weeks all we have is snow on the roofs. So as home inspectors, we try to look at a few things. One, of course, is the seller's disclosure. What we try to do on that is try to find the age of the current roof system, and has it been installed in the last 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, or unknown. So we start with that, and then we look at the type of roof and the pitch of roof. Is it a gable roof? Is it a low-sloped roof? Is it a hip roof? Because every one of those roof types has a different effect on snowpack, and especially the pitch, because the steeper the pitch, it's harder for the snow to hang on. But also some telltale signs like stains on ceilings. We all carry, I can't say we all do, but Tri-County inspectors all carry moisture meters. So if we do see an inappropriate stain without even penetrating the ceiling, we can give a good date as to how old that stain may be. And just for you listeners, a gray stain is a current stain, an amber stain is an older stain. So we look for those things. Vent stacks. Vent stacks are the pipes that protrude through your roof surface. And they're the first thing that generally leak in anyone's home because the vent stacks don't survive the life of the shingle. So in other words, if you have a dimensional roof where a lifespan is, say, 20 to 25 years, your vent collars are only lasting 12 to 15 years. So it's one of the things that all home inspectors look for. And we came across a house, ironically, about a week or so ago, where the vent stack on the inside was covered with rags as well as a coffee can. Right. So regardless of what the seller disclosure says, home inspectors do spend quality time in attics under the roof lines just to determine if there are any signs of current water infiltration. And I think what also happens is expertise. How long has your home inspector actually been in this profession? So that we can take a look around and know the secrets to our houses. And if need be, you can always ask the seller for a roof certification. Now, a roof certification just gives the current condition of the roof at that time that is being offered. So it's not a warranty or a guarantee in any way, but it does get a roofing contractor to walk the roof surface and give a current condition of the shingles and probably recommending any repairs that he may require for it to get a clear cert. So although our weather hasn't been perfect, Jeff, a good home inspector should still show good diligence and to provide you with as much information as possible. Our next email is from Kim. And believe it or not, Barry, Kim is from Cherry Hill.
All right. Maybe she's my neighbor.
No, she may be. Jack, we bought a house in December, and we have a pre-settlement walkthrough next week, so I'm glad I got to this one. At the time of the inspection, the house was both vacant and winterized. How should we proceed? Basically, Kim, there's a few things that you've got to do. First off, when a house is winterized, it should be winterized professionally. In other words, there should be some type of a plumber's receipt so that you call this person or that person to come to de-winterize the home. And sometimes with these bank-owned properties, their due diligence tends to be lacking. So within a week of settlement like now, you should be on the phone with your realtor so that they can be in touch with the other side to make sure that that plumber comes back through, fills the water heater, fills the lines, and visits each, and I have to stress this, each component that uses water. Is it the tub, the sink, the shower, the toilet, the dishwasher, the garbage disposal, the water heater itself? Is hot water being achieved at all your fixtures? But if you don't have that opportunity, well, then you have to kind of take the bull by the horns and require that the listing side restore this building to working order, because otherwise it would be very difficult for you to go to settlement whereby your mortgage company will not allow you to get your mortgage unless that house is in working order. And, of course, on your side, even though you got the receipt that they checked it, you have to do a pre-settlement check of your kitchen appliances as well as kitchen and bathroom fixtures, too. So just don't take it lightly that the house has been de-winterized. I give my folks from Tri-County a checklist so that they can actually use it as a form and, as I tell my clients, as a tool to assist them with their pre-settlement walkthrough. So if you need that checklist, Kim, I mean, we can email it to you, tomorrow. But go to info@tcinspect.com. That's our email, and we have found that to be extremely useful for our clients. Frank from Lambertville. Jack, being from Bucks County, I know you've inspected some of the unique houses in Lambertville where space is at a premium. I want to put a wall-mounted gas-fired water heater to maximize space and get rid of my 40-gallon gas water heater. Any advice? Well, Frank, yeah, I know. I've been in a ton of those older properties, and I always like Lambertville clients because they never leave town. I tend to call them Lambertvillians because they move to different segments of town but never leave the borough itself. So for your 40-gallon water heater, that's roughly 3 foot square. I know it's round, but takes up that much room, and about 5 feet tall. Replacement cost, by the way, Frank, is about $800. The wall-mounted units are roughly a foot out from the wall, 2 feet across, and then back up. But those are a little pricey. They run anywhere from $1,200 to $1,600. Now, standard water heaters require a metal vent, like you most likely have now, where the wall mounts can direct vent to the sidewall without the need of a chimney. So wall mounts should be fairly close to the need. In other words, you want it fairly close to your sinks, the showers, and the tubs. So if you're thinking of putting the wall mount in the basement and all your bathrooms are on the second floor, it could still take a little bit of time for that water heater to kick in and to provide you that instantaneous heat. Now, both do have fairly quick recoveries, especially compared to electric, and can be easily adjusted for both safety and, you know, what I like is adjustability for winter versus summer. Electrics, we tend to forget that there's a thermostat behind the covers. But both have life expectancies of about 12 to 15 years. So, Frank, to answer your question, personally, I would let your budget decide, you know, where you stand, because you're spending almost twice as much for the wall-mounted unit, but honestly, both are good products. So I'll let your wallet do the talking for that. Finally, I got a call from Jill, and this one just happened these past few days, and I want to talk about it just real quick. Vermiculite. Vermiculite is a mineral that has been known to contain asbestos fibers. The only problem is we don't know which one of 3 mines that the vermiculite was milled in. From what I understand, the Montana mine had the highest level of asbestos, and we had a seller who had vermiculite in their attic, but insulation over top. One home inspector suggested that the insulation be removed by a professional company and then replaced with new insulation. Unfortunately, I tend to disagree with that finding, because attic environments are not one of those that we're going to be spending quality time in anyway. It's also completely sealed off from your living environment. It's also being protected by another layer of insulation over top of the vermiculite. And vermiculite, folks, almost looks like kitty litter. It's actually a very fine, light mineral. So it was popular in homes between the 1930s and early 1960s. So if your home has any of this vermiculite insulation, I would suggest that you not disturb it. Because if you have someone come in with a shop vac, of course it's going to create negative pressure, which could actually potentially draw asbestos fibers into your living space. And of course it's not something that you want to do yourself anyway. So my advice is let it be. If you need to put the bath fan in, or you need to put the attic fan in, or the cable guy or the security guy or whoever has to go up into your attic, they know better and will wear a respirator anyway, or at least they should. If you find you had to spend quality time in your attic, I would do what I do. I wear a respirator, because I don't want to breathe any type of air from an attic environment, be it loose fill insulation, be it bat insulation, or vermiculite. So, Jill, let it be. I love the words. It was a great Beatles song, and that would be my advice. So, in closing, I like these segments where I can answer your questions because, again, I know they apply to all home buyers, but also homeowners, and that's what the House Whisperer Show is all about. So please email me your thoughts and questions to thehousewhisperershow@gmail.com. And as it is Sunday, please spend time with friends and family, and I'll see you next week on The House Whisperer.
Well, before you go, Jack, I have a couple of questions for you, okay?
Fire away.
Because we have a little more time.
Okay.
Now, I'm not buying or selling my house, but I do have a gas water heater in the basement, and the date that it was installed is, as you said, marked in magic marker on there. I don't remember what it says, but are you saying that it should be replaced, whether it leaks or not, just get it replaced after a certain number of years? I want you to explain that.
Yeah, Barry, I think that's pretty sound advice. I mean, I think life is the law of averages. And so an average water heater, be it gas or electric, is about 12 to 15 years. And when I came across a water heater a couple weeks ago that was 25 years old, it was actually the original water heater. I said,
wow,
this is older than an antique, and I'm not quite sure what is older than an antique. So I don't like to use the expression a time bomb, but it is something that absolutely gives you no notice as to when it may fail. And Bradford White, which is one of the most popular water heaters in the area, used 20 of the 26 letters of the alphabet to date their tanks. So I'm sure if you go to BradfordWhite.com, they can give you the alphabet, and you can probably figure out the age of your tank. A.O. Smith uses, if A is January, B is February, C is March, etc. And then after that letter is a year, like 06 or 99. That was the year of manufacture. So with A.O. Smith, you can figure out really the month and year of the manufacturing date of your water heater.
Well, I'm going to go down and check the date that's written on my water heater, and I may be in the market for a new one. I have a feeling. Jack, thanks for the advice. You really are a great help to a lot of people who listen to this program.
Well, thank you, Barry. And, again, we try to make the show as useful as possible. And what I like is that it's available on podcast. So if you miss me today, it's going to be available 24/7 until you hear me on the air next week.
That's right. Jack is always here. And tune in again next week for another edition of the House Whisperer Show with professional home inspector Jack Milne. And to listen to the podcast, or if you have any questions, visit thehousewhisperershow.com. I'm Barry Reisman. Thanks for listening to WWDB.
La 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 la.